Are we live? Yes, we're live. Well, it's 5 to 12 on Tuesday, the 16th of July, 2025. And after around 30 years, this is the most coherent that I've ever been. And there's been so much happening, there's such a lot happening. And to all the people that have stood by me, I'm so very grateful to everybody. Sorry, I was just going to have a cup of tea. I'm very grateful. Every day's a different day, it seems. And, today I've decided to sell all of my computer and the monitor and everything else. I've got no money and the bills are all piling up and going over and all that lot. But I don't suppose I expected it to happen anyway, because this is sort of a textbook that they're going to leave me with nothing, and they have done. And then they can say it's mental health or bullshit like that. Today I thought I saw a nail in one of my neighbour's tyres. So I just popped it, and it wasn't this big because my eyesight isn't so good, and it looked like it anyway. So while I was out there was a man staring at me across the road. And then me and the other two were talking about the car, which it wasn't a nail in the tyre. And then this bloke starts, he was staring, and he's been playing for about a year. He sits outside of the property across the road, and he just watches everything and everybody. And I clocked him about a year ago. I was walking past. I said, "Lovely evening, mate." He turned around, he went, "What?" So I shouted, "Lovely evening," or something to him. Then he shouted, "There's no need to shout." So anyway, he's been an arsehole. And today he played with me again. He shouted across the road, "You used to go out with a woman called Sarah. You used to drive a yellow taxi." Yeah, I did. And now I do remember Sarah. And he was trying to make allegations about me, so I phoned the police today. And the police don't, there's not much point in calling the police. So anyway, I've let him know, and I'm going to film him tomorrow, because two of his friends filmed me telling him what a nasty person he was. And I don't know what this is about, so that must be the gossip and words they put about me locally in the hometown and all that lot, because this is how it works when you've been on a program. Basically, they did it to me in 82, 83, and for the first time. It lasted maybe 6 months, I don't remember. And I was in control of, three people were in control of me. One was my boss, Steve, and the other one was my brother, Jason, and another one was a policeman's son, Mark. I won't say his surname, but everybody knows who he is lately. And I worked with Mark, and my brother and him, they were sort of worked against me. My brother embezzled my 5-bedroom property out of me by bullying me. I gave in to him, and he sold it within 10 weeks later. And the policeman's son, Mark, when I had a row with my wife, when my mother-in-law was over from Slovakia and my son was 3 weeks old, my mother-in-law had started being cruel to me on the second week. And, I wanted to spend time with my wife and my son, but this wasn't going to happen. Brought my mother-in-law over from Bratislava. She spent a week, and I was working for Burton, for Bass the Breweries in Burton-on-Trent, and I was commuting every day, and I was setting up a business in Bournemouth. And the business I was setting up, it was I met somebody in America where I met Xenia, which is my second wife's name, and I met her in Miami, in Florida. And anyway, we got together, came back to the UK, got married. My son was born when he was 3 weeks old. We had a great big row. I said things I shouldn't have. I told her to F off because I shouldn't have done, but I paid heftily for it. That was 32 years ago. And then I was put on the programme 30 years ago. It might have even been 31 years ago because I don't remember how old my son is. I went to, I tried to stop my wife leaving the country with my son, and it all went through, and she said she was going to go and get things sorted out. And she never came back, and she went back to her ex-boyfriend in Slovakia, in Bratislava. So anyway, a short while after that, I went to Jamaica. I got a job in Jamaica, in Ocho. So I went to Jamaica to live. I lived in Ocho, and I was working between the Sandals at Duns River, Sandals at Ocho, Jamaica Grand, and the Holiday Inn at Montego Bay. And cut a long story short, there was a couple there, Phil and Joanne, and they wanted me out of the way because they were doing all right for themselves. And so anyway, anyway. So I thought to myself, right, Roy, come on home, let's sort it out. So I came home. I met a lovely lady called Rachel, and me and her got together for a few months. I don't remember what happened, but she'd split up with her husband, and anyway, she'd gone home, to her husband in bed with somebody else, and it wasn't a woman. So anyway, not long after that, I found myself on the programme after Rachel and I split up. And today, as I was coming home, as I said, this man was abusive across the road to me, and he brought something up about this lady Sarah that I met. So I'm going to go and film him tomorrow, and I'm going to find out what this is all about. Because what normally happens in my town, and after a while it's so draining, especially with the police families, the policeman's son, he used to call me a pedo, baby penis, or pencil dick, because he was the sort of person that got his penis out in front of young ladies and stuff, Mark, I forgive you for what you did. And sadly, Jason teamed up with you, Mark, and he had my house. And you were quite happy to poke your nose in my marriage. Yeah, I've not got anger problems, but I used to flip. I was so controlled by bullies and the circles of bullies that you become not you become used to it. And one of them was violent, and the other one was aggressive and pulled faces. And that obviously I'm not a fighter anyway, and they knew that I wasn't a fighter. And as I said, I'm doing this because I'm going to get rid of all of my equipment now. I don't want this computer anymore. There's too many bad things happening in the targeted individuals. I did my best to connect the world. And I didn't expect anything from it because it's going to bankrupt me soon anyway. Because as I said, I'll be selling everything, and I don't know where I'm going to go next. If I'm going to be staying in the UK, I've got nothing to stay in Bournemouth for. I represented it as a Rotarian when I was invited in, but I don't feel it's not my home. Everywhere I go, they were waiting for me round the corners for the last 2 years. I've had all this street theatre nonsense. Now I've got this other nonsense. And it's so draining, I'd like to think I've been one of the good guys in life. I've made a couple of mistakes with a couple of my ladies. I became violent on 2 occasions, but it wasn't me. I'd always been on the program before that, and I can't explain that to anybody, because how do you say it wasn't me? When something had taken over you. But now I'm very, very well aware it was voodoo that was used on me, a Satanist, a Freemason Satanist, who helped Robert Ransom and some of the other guys take me down. Robert came to me with a story. Can you help me? Please help me. They've been saying that I'm a pedo, and I'm not a pedo. And and anyway, I got emails from my friend David yesterday. Said to me, he said Robert came to me as well, Roy, and he tried to do the same to me. So Robert Ransom, I think you're a very, very sick man. I've been here over 18 years in this flat, and Targeted Individuals United Save Lives on YouTube. But because of you, Robert, and a few of the other cronies, that Victor, the Masonic magician or whatever, and it's become very, very draining because people have been attacking me for many, many years. The corners that I turn round, and after a while, it's like, do I need all this? And now, most of the community, if not all of them, have tried getting me out of the way. A woman called Sherry Mullinax, she came to me about 18 months ago. Please help me. Please help me, Roy. Please help me. My ex-partner or my husband put a bomb in my car. So anyway, for about 3 months, I helped Sherry. And then she turned nasty on me for no reason. She sucked me in by charming me because she knew that the brotherhoods and the people that have done this to me had kept my children. But what I was going to say have kept women away from me, and and the people that they put in my life were of their choosing. I believe my son's in Australia now, in Perth, in Fremantle. His mother was from Bratislava, and the mother of my daughter is in Devon, and my daughter is in Edinburgh. And the relationship between my daughter and I is strained because a lot of the people who were involved in my targeting were part of either of their families in the Bournemouth establishment where I came from. I was put on the program the first time in about 1980, 82 or 83. I became the manager of an amusement arcade. For the Americans and other people that don't know what that is, it's a great big, it was a pier just full of slot machines. And I got refused in the army when I was 15 and a half because I was underweight and I was too short. I was 5'3" and I weighed 6.5 stone, which was too. I was going to join the REMI, but I was underweight for the British Army. So I started working at the local pier. I started hanging about there, banging the machines, and I ended up working there for 7 years. And it was a great job. I loved working with the public, and I was popular, and I had a lot of friends that used to come down and see me. But when you're popular, you've got a load of fools around the town think you're doing better than you are, and you've got a load of people talking nonsense about you, because I've been a fun guy all my life, apart from the last 30, because I've not known if I've been coming or going, when to have a laugh, and I've not been allowed to laugh. And it's only probably the last 3 months that this is the most coherent and being able to think for myself somewhat, because I've still got a lot going on. And anyway, where was I going to go? So from the pier, I was lucky enough to go on the I went all around the country. I worked in Swanage for a couple of seasons, and then I became area manager for Bass, going around all the bars and all that lot. And then around, I think it was 1989, I got a job on the cruise ships, and I ended up sailing to Australia. It was a 35-day line voyage from Southampton in England, taking in a load of ports, and we started cruising out of Sydney. And we were doing the South Pacific, New Zealand, Fiji, and so on and so forth. So I had 4 years of that, and met Xenia, the mother of my son Michael, who left me when she was 3 weeks old. The last time I saw him, I stopped them, trying to stop them going out of the country with my son. And the last time I saw him, he was about 5 weeks old, and that was the end of it. You know, the court stipulated that she would write to me, let me know of her whereabouts. I never knew where he was or how he was doing. I used to get a letter now and again, and that was it. So anyway, Rachel, this man across the road today, he started alleging that he knew something about me and Rachel, and I'd forgotten who it was. And I came home here and I thought, yeah, I did go out with a lady called Rachel with 2 sons. He used to go out with a bloke called Lee. And this man made allegations. So I went to the police station. There was nobody there because I'm not having nobody say nothing about me anymore. This is the end of it. And then I phoned the police. And it's no good. I've got filth to film now. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to go and film him tomorrow, because I'm not going to have this. No matter where I go in the world, this is my hometown. People are going to make allegations and talk shit about me and tell lies. I haven't been a very well man for 30 years. I've never touched a child. I've never been a paedophile. I've never been a thought about going near children. Women has been my thing all of my life, and that's what got me into trouble, but so be it. Where else was I going to go? Yeah, everything's for sale. I'm going to debate what to do next, because I'm shut out of the whole town. There's a few people that pretend to like me and all that lot, and I still help people on here, if I can, but I'm not doing as much these days because Targeted Individuals United was shut down, and I'm trying to show how to share the screen here, but I don't think I can. Can you share the screen? Oh yeah, you can. All right, allow. Because what I wanted to share is the actual scare, Targeted Individuals United. This is the video that I've put up again. Because the first Targeted Individuals United that was taken down. View tab from YouTube. No, we can do it from there. So anyway, I re-put these up down, and it had over 250,000 views before, and I got the 250,000 badge at Christmas just gone, and that was obviously when it was.
You'll have an IP
Sorry
address.
about that. That for a second, and go back to the original page. Oh no, I don't know where I am now. Oh, where's that gone? Oh dear, I've done something. Oh, there it is there. So I hope I've stopped. Anyway, so where was I? Oh yes. So I started Target, but there was 3,500 subscribers, 250,000 views, and people actually came to me and said that it had saved their lives. So Targeted Individuals United, I'm delighted it did save lives. And sadly, Robert Ransom, a Satanist called Victor, and a crowd of other people got me out of the way. Targeted Justice were the main players. Sadly, Anna Toledo, Len Bear, who else? And who was it? And Midge Mathis, and the names escape me for now. I started telling people about 18 months ago not to give money to targeted justice. Lots and lots of people were coming to me. Roy, targeted justice is a load of bullshit. Roy, targeted justice court case is a load of bullshit. Anyway, I'm just, oh, wow, 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 that's power, wow, why, right, okay, right, okay, why, what the, wow, right, okay, right, so what's, right, right, okay, wow, okay. Right, I'm sorry for all of this, to everybody. It's it's so much that, you know, the people that have got all of their there's so many people that have come across to me now, and there's thousands and thousands of people now that have got so many people, and there's so many people that are helping each other now. You know, there's a lot of people that are very, very good people, you know, and people aren't very nice to me, you know, and I've lost 30 years of my life, you know, and it's only recently, the last few days, it's only the last few months I've been able to properly speaking again to anybody and everybody again properly, you know, because it's only the last couple of weeks that I've really been able to talk again and all of that. But it's still happening to me, you know. I've still got ears in my ears. I've got broken inner ear bones, and you know, I've really done everything that I can to everybody, locally, and never and locally, and I really, you know, have tried for everybody. I've been in this flat for 18 years, and I've done everything to help everybody in the whole world. You know, all of the others are trying to get me out of the way. I've done hundreds of videos on TI Talk, you know, and sadly, there's quite a few of them that are in it. They want me out of the way, because they work for the FBI, the CIA, and the FBI, and all of these and all this lot. So basically, they've been playing me and all of the other people as well, you know. So um, that they all have, a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a live competition, and basically I got taken down, and you know, so my ex, my Twitter, my ex, that has gone now, and I've been on Twitter for 15 years this September, and there's a warning on my Twitter, to show people and all of that. So they've all basically got out of me the way with my Targeted Individuals United on YouTube and many other channels being taken down now, you know, because that American thing that took me down, he helped Targeted Justice, you know, to get me out of the way, and Targeted Justice wanted me out of the way, you know, because of all the trouble with Anna. Because, oh, I want to mention this. A nasty young lady was set up to me about a year ago, and she came in with her partner into a meeting, and Anna Toledo it was all set up, and Anna was being very, very abusive and aggressive to me, and Connor is correct. Hello, mate. Well, anyway, this lady, I was going to do, she asked me to help her. I helped her. And then this man came in my life. Oh, please, Roy, can we do a video? This is Robert. I did a video with him. And he obviously was in partnership with other people, or other people wanted me out of the way for a long time. So I did one with Robert. I got a warning. There was nothing on there for a warning. There was no face. There was no porn or nothing. And the second time, I gave an interview and all that lot, and they took my channel down. And I'll quickly share the screen. Right, which one was it? Oh, this is this was it. Your channel won't be put on YouTube. Nudity and sexual content. That's a lie. There was no nude. What had happened is it had got hacked by some friends of the people that I was helping, and they put a load of porn across the screen of Targeted Individuals United, and I couldn't shut the screen down, so I had to end the channel. And all of a sudden, they took YouTube Targeted Individuals United down. And this is here another channel I started, but I've only managed to get 94 up. There's still another couple of hundred. This was the channel that I started, Targeted Individuals United, and most of these videos now have gone from here, so the reason most of them gone is because the YouTube channel they were connected to, and so where was I? So we'll go back, we'll stop sharing that, and then we'll go back to the screen. I don't know where the screen is now. Oh, there it is. And thanks to all that you who have joined me. Regarding your channel, the program will shut you down and the passes. Usually they don't mind the message getting out to small numbers of people, but they get touched. The screen share is blank. Thank you. It shouldn't have been blank. Thanks for letting me know. Right, also share the tab. So let's see if I can share that again. Right, it says I can't stop sharing. So I'll stop sharing that and go back to the normal one. So anyway, I'm going to be wrapping up in the next few weeks, because as I said, I'm trying to sell everything that I've got now. I don't want to be attached to it anymore, because too many bad things are happening to me with people I helped, and locally they're starting to make allegations and tell lies about me now as well. And this started 30 years ago. I sold the taxi business 21 years ago, ended up in the Philippines married to a woman that I'd never met before, came back home, gambled 70,000, or the change that I had from 70,000, borrowed another 15,000, and didn't go back to the Philippines, and ended up caring for my mother from 1995 until I lost her 6 years ago. So the screen share is blank. The slander doesn't stop, quite right. And sadly, a lot of it is within the Targeted Individuals community now, because mine wasn't to make money. I had a little bit of savings, which was caring for my mother, and I spent every single penny on Targeted Individuals and Target Individuals United, and just talking to other people. And I will go bankrupt soon, but I don't care, you know. And I'd like to get away from my hometown, because where I go, there's nonsense. I said today I went out, some bloke wanted to start on me, and and after a while, I'm not running away from it, because he's going to start fighting. And I got thrown out of a local bar round the corner about 3 weeks ago. A doorman started playing with me. I got thrown out of the old Pine Cliff in Southbourne. I got thrown off of a bus in Bournemouth. I went to the casino to apologise because I got thrown out of a casino. I'm banned from every casino in Great Britain, but that's my choice. No, I tell a lie. That was the court stipulation. When I went banned for gambling, all that 70 plus the 15,000, that was the court stipulations that I got banned. So that was 21 years ago, I believe. I had voice to skull for 26 and a half years, but it didn't go away. The V2K was always there, and it only tapered off. But what they did with me, they took my power of speech away. Between 1993, when they put me on the program, and 1993 and 2001 or two, they uploaded my brain. They stopped me being able to talk, and I could barely hold a conversation. And everything through my years, like they'd emptied out and they were looking for something. But I don't have secrets. There's nothing to hide in my life. I've been around this world. I'm a clean man. I like women. I've never been a pervert or any of that lot, And these bad people back home, they always want to relate you to some sort of pedo or some sort of pervert. I used to get regularly beaten by two people or manipulated. My governor, he was okay to do it because he was paying me. But where I was, there was a policeman's son called Mark, and obviously my brother was a violent bully. So between those two, they manipulated me for all of these years, and I became violent to two of my ladies, and I hit that, and that was when I was in my 20s, and I've hated myself ever since because it wasn't me. I was put on the program the first time when I was 21, and I think that was 1983. I was 20 or 21, So I learned a little bit differently. Went around the world, came home, things happened again. I was put on the program again. I've tried helping everybody that I possibly can. A dozen people over the years have made me help, give me a little donation or a little something to keep going. I've got nothing left. I'm not crying, because I'm happy that I've virtually got myself now, and I think that's worth more than any money, because if you're being controlled with V2K and you don't know whether you're coming or going, and you're being called the most malicious and horrible names, you don't know who you are, you can't see, and people are being crude to you and rude to you, and then you go out locally and people have all started bullshitting about you because they hurt me. This was done ordered by a Bournemouth police inspector who told me in the 1980s. One day he came onto my pier, I believe it was, and he said to me, "One day we'll have you wandering around the world like a headless fucking chicken." And that was a police inspector in Bournemouth who was a friend of Tony's, who was related to this program, Tony Harcourt, who was conversing with me, with a man that I was related to, a man called Steve. And these were all in on the program as well. And, I've got to forgive all of these people, locally, nationally. They've poisoned, they've destroyed everywhere I go. I had 18 months, nearly 2 years of gang stalking, street theating. Since I sold my car, I sold the car to go to Barry Trowers. It was worth £3,300. Because the neighbourhood has locked me up so badly, I had to I had to sell it to a car company, and I only got £1,650 for it, so, and that was to go and see Barry, to meet up with the two ladies, to do the interviews with Barry, and then to come back. And over the last 18 months, all I've done is this, to try to help and build everybody. And as I said, Robert Ransom, Targeted Justice, and many others just wanted me out of the way, and they've done it. I haven't got much brain power left, and I'm just trying to get to know myself. I've got broken inner ear bones. I've got clicking in both ears. This is where they pump so much pressure into my brain. Apparently, they used occult magic on me, and I could actually feel them pumping pressure into my brain when I was living in a one-bedroom flat when I was a taxi driver. And I was listening to this, and they were pumping and pumping, and all of a sudden, both of my ears went pop. They'd uploaded my brain, and they popped both my ears. I've got a condition called stapedial myoclonus. Is that my eyes? Stapedial. Is it? Anyway, I've got a macular degeneration. Oh no, I've got stapedial myoclonus and macular degeneration in both eyes. Nerve damage in one eye. Plus the ear operation. I can't remember what it was called. I also had a lump come up on a throat here. This is where they've been sending so much radiation through this window. I've got a radiation meter here, and I don't know if they've turned the radiation down, because it used to be horrendous here, and it looks like, but the thing is it still doesn't, I've got one of these in here, and I don't know, right, okay, so here we go. I don't know if it will stop or if this is the radiation coming in. Oh, obviously it is. There we go. Because it was coming in through the windows, and that is working off of a Wi-Fi. Or is that what that is working off of a Wi-Fi? But anyway, the radiation meter, I started discovering it started reading off my head and also off my back. On the left bridge of my nose, I could feel a piece of wire. I went to the doctors, and the first lady doctor, she tried to remove it for 10 minutes. She took me in the next door. She got her tweezers on. She said, yes, Mr. A. She said, I can feel it. She started squeezing it and trying to pull it out and couldn't get it out. And she said, I've got another appointment due, Mr. E. Cups. She said, would you make an appointment with another doctor, please? And I said, of course. So anyway, the next doctor I made an appointment with, however long later, I told her what was happening. This time she played the mental health card. So one doctor tried to remove it off of me. The next doctor played the mental health card. So also I had a lump just come up on one of my testicles, and they cut that out as well. As I said, what else have I had? And basically, it's not doing us any good, this microwave, than being thrown to pieces. The voice to skull is destroying people. It's turning everybody against each other, and the slander never stops. God bless you, June. Thank you very much, June. Bless you, darling. And David, you started all in 2023. People use you as stepping stones. I'm a witness. I watch people use your platform Bless you, David. Thank you very much for standing by me as well, David. And yes, targeted justice. It was reported. Don't quote me. I think it was 3 million they played with last year. Don't quote me. And you know, they want me out of the way. And my friend David Atkins, it hurt me because people were trying to play David and I against each other. And they've been starting on David recently as well as they did on me. They came to me and then they started playing me and trying to get me out of the way, which Robert Ransom, Victor, the FBI, um, Satanist, who admitted he was, and the one-eyed man who was part of it, and just so many of them. And this is never, what I've done has never been to hurt anybody. Everything I've done is research for the whole world and give everything without expecting nothing in return. Some people were kind to me on occasion, and just being somebody saying a kind word, believe it helps. But what they do when they try and get you out of the way, they manipulate everybody against you. You know, this is their plan because they didn't want me to carry on as Targeted Individuals United. You know, my platform Targeted Individuals United. Um, I couldn't really get any help for that because I was too busy doing all the targeted other stuff, you know. Um, David A, you joined all TIs worldwide. I'm seeing you get destroyed after you're standing for what's right in the community and not using the community game. I know, David. I think the world of you and Holly, and I'm glad we spoke later. And I'm glad that we're waking up and we're waking our friends up that will watch this as to what these filth are doing. We know they're in on the program, they're in on it. If you Midge Mathis, Len Bear, Richard Lighthouse, fake name, the first, the other two, Len Bear, you know, a New York scientist. He got Havana syndrome. He came to me the multiple times. Anna Toledo came to me. Roy, can we do an interview? Roy, can we do an? Roy, can you help me? Roy, can you help me? And they set me up on a show one night. They had a woman tell lies about me with a boyfriend, say, "Oh, that you tried it on with me or something on the phone." She fucking lied. She was set up with Targeted Justice to do this to get me out of the way. I gave 2 pairs of hairdressing scissors away today because I was worried that they had some satanic tie to them. This was from the hairdresser who came with Katie Petersay. Katie Petersay has been here 3 times. The first time she made arrangements to come here. I don't know if she stayed for a week or two. All it was with Katie, and it was all about her, right? Okay. But at the same time, she was feeding off me because she knew she'd get it real from me. The second time, I'd already started doing TI Talk on a Sunday night. TI Talk, for who doesn't know, was a platform for anybody and everybody to get together. 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, I started it globally, and everybody that was anybody joined me. And then once they'd all joined me, after a few years, then other little platforms started to do their own thing, which is great because the more word getting out, the better. But then it was time for them to get me out of the way. So they try to do the local pervert, the local pedo, the local nonce stuff. This is how they're doing it here. They set me up with a rapist, with Katie Petersay from Holland, the FBI hacker. He confirmed that she was either working for the Dutch police or Russian. So that bitch that came, that I helped, she brought 2 pairs of scissors with her. As I said, I gave them away today. So the second time Katie Peterson came, she'd met two people, Pauline and Dan. Pauline was from my hometown. I helped her. Dan was locally. I helped Dan. They connected, Dan and Pauline. They also connected with Katie behind my back. Katie flew from Texas or New Orleans into my hometown. She met up with that man, Dan and Pauline, in my hometown. And then I got a phone call. Didn't even know she was in. Right, I need your help. It's Katie. Dan's driven his car at me. I need you to take me to hospital. So anyway, Roy, good old Roy, drove to the hospital and picked her up from hospital, and she stayed here for another week or two. Again. Last year, I had a phone call, and it's a Dutch woman. And the Dutch woman, her name was Nicole. She told me she was a Dutch target, a Dutch TI. And, you know, and I was talking to her, I think, for about 4 days. And then, lo and behold, Katie Peterson was at The Hague in Holland. And I got a phone call from Katie Peterson. Right, do you know anybody in Holland? No, I hadn't ever met anybody in Holland. But 4 days before Katie was at The Hague, reporting or whatever, doing there, this woman, Nicole, contacted me. So I said to her, as a matter of fact, Katie, I said, I met this woman. She came to me 4 days ago. So Nikki and Katie met at The Hague. They both ended up over here at my place. On the first night, Katie and Nicole, I opened this up for them. They slept in here. The second day, we all went to the beach. Nicole and I were holding hands along the beach. Katie slept in here, and Nicole came to bed with me. And when we got to bed, she was a little bit cold. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to push it. So I turned my back on her deliberately. I turned my back, and in the morning at 6 o'clock, I woke up with my back there, and it was around her. And I was asleep, and she woke up and she shouted, I thought I told you not to put your arm round me at night. And I was asleep. And I woke up and I looked at her and I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And she said, your arm. I said, my arm wasn't around your fucking back or whatever. And I said, don't ever do that to another fucking man. And she apologized to me for doing it to me. She was set up by the bastards. She was set up by the FBI or the CIA or any of them, or the Dutch or the Russians, as I was told. So Nicole was a setup. Robert Ransom. He came to destroy and get rid of Targeted Individuals United platform. He was put in place. He did it. That my platform, it saved lives, you know. And people came to me and said, Roy, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have found the truth. Now I found my implants. And, you know, now people are getting compensated. They're all connecting globally throughout the world, you know, and I'm getting fucked by everybody. It doesn't matter. I'm not crying, you know. I wasn't too sure what to expect because as I went out today, as I said earlier, they're trying to put it around the neighbourhood that I'm the local pedo and local nonce. And this is how my hometown works. When you've had your brain uploaded over a 9-year period, and you've been regressed back to childhood. I knew what I was when I was born. I love women, and I've never had a fondness for children, not for anything like that. And sadly, that's what they do. You know, they try and put you down as a pedo, or they'll try to associate, and it's an absolute disgrace. And it is, yeah, Robert Ransom. I tried to warn you on YouTube channel. I mentioned all the warning signs. Thank you, and thank you very, very much. And I didn't know who was real and who was not, because what they do is they do a thing called steaming you. And not only that, they send people to pretend that they're going to help you. Robert Ransom, I was wanted to build a really, really good website to help everybody, and I wanted to find out a way of monetizing it, because they were demonetizing me. You know, the bank, I'm going to go bankrupt. There's no sort of doubt about it. You know, it's just when now. You know, as I said, I'm selling everything. I don't know if I'm going to stay in this country, because all this time there's nothing for me. You know, all I've got is bad memories. I had good memories as a child until I was 33. You know, 33 is when they did this to me. You know, and I don't know what time of the year it is, but they've given me a 30-year sentence, I believe, because stuff is happening to me now. I've only been really, really able to think, to watch the television, to understand a program, to hold a conversation face to face, and actually take in what the other person's saying, because they blocked that part of it. So that when people were talking in all of the, or the majority of the TI talks that I did, a lot of people, I didn't understand what they were saying, you know, but I was happy because it was promoting everybody and getting them public, you know, and getting the people, you know, out to try and get some help and some publicity. Before me, I don't think there were half a dozen people in the world showing their faces. There was Magnus Olsson, there was Dr. Catherine Horton, who married Bill Binney. Catherine Horton did her bit. Good evening, Frank. And I'd like to say to the 11 people or 12 that have joined me, thank you very much. I'm clearing stuff up because a lot of the community is trying to get rid of me. Well, not a lot of it, certain ones are. Your targeted justice and those ones, because I've called them all out. I know what they are. It's about this, you know, and they're taking people out. A friend of mine in Japan, about 3 months ago, a lady that I never knew contacted me from Japan, and she wanted help. And targeted justice had extracted $3,500 out of her, apparently, or 2.5. After or before they put her in a nut house. So basically, I spoke to my friend Yuki and I found out what it was all about. My Japanese friend, she told me that targeted justice had taken $3,500 off of her, and then she ended up in a mental ward. You know, and sadly, you know, like our friend in the States who was doing the radio show, Joe Flynn. That's right. They locked him up. Is it John Flynn? That's right. They locked him up about 3 months ago. So John's he's locked up because he was passed on information and he passed the information out, and they locked him up. You know, so. I don't know what the next move is for me. I don't know what they've got planned for me. You know, I'm going to fight on. I said this monitor, the computer, and all the keyboards and everything. This is a second-hand phone. I had an Apple contract phone, but I sold that, so I'm going to be beholden to the Apple contract because I've broken the contract. But they were going to do it to me anyway. It was set up by Zoom, YouTube, PayPal. There was 5 or 6 of them that wanted to take me out, so they all collaborated to make me overdrawn and indebted to PayPal, and then it just goes on from there. Finances. If you are a real target, please, I know it will be very, very difficult to find anybody that you could ever trust, but please find a way to lock your money down, you know, because they took everything from me and it was easy for them to do because I trusted everybody. I just wanted a friend. You know, all of my family hated me. My brother turned against me. The whole neighborhood turned against me. You know, I was put on a very, very bad program for a very, very long time. You know, David Icke, about 2 weeks ago, I noticed that he'd interviewed Anna Toledo. And I wonder if Anna really is a target. You know, she did a class action lawsuit. This is the story. She did a class action lawsuit against the Puerto Rican government. And basically, the Puerto Rican government, you know, they wanted to get rid of her or put her on the program. I don't know if she's full of shit or not, because a lot of what she says is full of shit. And so anyway, and then the story as it was, when Richard and Midge Mathis started up Targeted Justice, some months later they found Anna Toledo and took Anna Toledo on board, and that's how that's how that all came about. And I was doing all the TI talks about them, but I don't do them no more. I got edged out about 3-4 weeks ago. You know, they've hacked my internet. My internet's going to be cut off soon. I've had 3 internet providers since I've been here. They've had a jammer on my bedroom window, so I actually couldn't get a mobile phone signal in this property. I could get 1 bar at the windows. When I go to the shop, it says I should have an excellent signal. So anything they will do, they will cut you out, they will cut you off. And good evening, Frank. Good evening, June. And con artist, I'm not too sure what your name is. David Atkins and Holly. David works very hard and he continues to do this. This is a shout out for you, mate. And I phoned David up. David phoned me up a month or 2 ago. He said, Roy said, can we do an interview? He said a lot of them are coming for me now. So I understood where David was coming from, because a lot of them had already come for me. So they want David Atkins and out of the way as well, you know, because David tells the truth the same as myself, and David does the interviews and the testimonies and everything else. And you know, so David said, so David and I did an interview, and we put the word out there that you know, David is being hurt as well, and they ramped it up with David Atkins as well. And David and we spoke yesterday. I love you, David. I know you're watching, and Holly. I love you both, and thank you ever so much. And I'm so glad that we've actually got to talk, you know, because you know how this is such a fragmented community, and everybody's talking crap about each other. And I'm very grateful to you and Holly for yesterday's chat. And, you know, let's keep in contact regular. And I'll support you, David and Holly. And with David, I've known David a while, and it was great to be able to have quite a good conversation with David yesterday, because David was fragmented. His brain was fragmented as well, remembering that Dave was chased across a field, falsely accused of being a rapist, and actually shot and put in prison for 2 years. And then the woman admitted she lied. You know, so David Atkins, I love you, brother, and I would give you all the support all day, every day. A lot of the people that are trying to get me out of the way, you know, obviously the majority are on the other side or just don't like me. And I've got to be honest, most people don't even know me because I've only started getting recently to know myself now. Even though I go out there and I got bullied, I was filming last week, the week before, you know, because of all these people that have been coming for me. I'm going to film a man across the road tomorrow. Then I'm going to go around and film the bar again, just to let them know. And then they'll send all the boys round, you know, wanting to beat me a little bit more for telling the truth about these people. You know, but I'm not going to have people going around talking shit about me or telling lies about me anymore. I'm a man, I've got to stand up for myself. Before, I was bullied by my brother and a copper's son. You know, now they're out of the way, please God, and they stay out of the way. Edwin Brooks and Jason Johnny Cups, I forgive you both. Please don't hurt me anymore. Jason, you asked me for 5,000 to get you out of prison when Mum was alive 6 years ago. I gave you that money. You never paid me a penny back. Or you never ever phoned me up to see how I was, ever. You also embezzled a 5-bedroom property out of me in 1983. A 5-bedroom property, you embezzled it out of me. You beat me so badly and threatened me so badly and I sold the house to you and you sold it in 10 weeks. Your own brother did that to me. And then that policeman, son, all of the abuse that I took for at work, he couldn't wait to get his hands on my marriage when my little boy was 3 weeks old, when I'd had a row with my mother and my mother-in-law was over from Slovakia. I'd had a great big row, said things I shouldn't have done because my mother-in-law, we only had a 1-bedroom flat. There was a race to the pram with my son. I couldn't get to see my son or change him. And then I'd get told off, you know. So anyway, she left at 3 weeks old and Mark Brooks's Volkswagen camper van was outside and he moved everything of my son's stuff out. 3 weeks old. 2 weeks later, she'd gone back to Slovakia, stayed with him for 2 weeks. It went to courts and they let her go back to Slovakia. They believed their bullshit. Went back to Slovakia. She was supposed to be coming back, never came back. And that was the end of it. A few months after that, I got a job in Jamaica. I'd got to know somebody who ran some slot machines out, or a company, and I phoned them up and they had a job going. So I went to live in a hotel called the Jamaica Grand at Ocho Rios. And I used to look after the slot machines at Sandals at Duns River Falls, Sandals at Ocho Rios, the Jamaica Grand, and the Holiday Inn at Montego Bay. And that was about 31 years ago. I say that because then after that job, I got scammed by the 2 British people that were running there. So I got fed up and I came home. And I met this lady called Rachel. The story with Rachel was she met this man, her husband. She went home and her husband was in bed with another man. And so anyway, me and Rachel got together. And I said, obviously, I said something, you know, about these 2 men that she caught in bed. And they were obviously part of the occult and whatever. So anyway, Rachel and I split it up within a few weeks, few days, few months. That was it. I was on the program. How it happened with me, I haven't heard it with other people, but what happened with me, I had a local bar called the Richmond Arms in Charminster, Bournemouth, Dorset, England. As I approached the bar, a piece of my right frontal lobe, it just appeared to fold over. I remember thinking, what was that? From that day, I could barely speak, and this man came into my life. He was a handler. His name was Bill Verity. Verity in Greek means truth. It comes from veritas. So William Verity, Bill Verity for short, was put in my life for 9 years. I could barely speak. I was in a taxi. I was driving a car I couldn't talk to the customers. I had voice to skull, remote neural monitoring. I was getting lost. I didn't know where I was going, but I managed to stick it out. The handler's always away. I was his bitch to him, you know. And basically, they did a brain test on me when they were getting rid of me. After 9 years, he got rid of me as his handler because they'd already put another handler in my cab. And she was an estate agent. She was an estate agent from Highcliffe. She was put in my taxi 25 years ago. Her name was Linda. I won't give her surname, but she was put in my cab, and her job was to find out all of my business, my mother's business, my father's business, my children's business, and to use me as a taxi. So once she found out all of my business, she knew that I was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic and then with bipolar and all that lot. The only reason I went to the doctors in the first place was to get sleep. But then there was so much going on, you know, after a while, they diagnosed me with their bullshit, bipolar or paranoid bipolar, paranoid schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia to start, and then bipolar, you know, because I was on antipsychotics, I believe, for 9 years. And I put on 3.5 stone in weight, 22 kilos or thereabouts. And a few years ago, I was determined to lose that weight again because I'd started getting a little tiny bit of sanity, not too much sanity, because the V2K was there, plus everything that I've been doing for the targeted individuals community is infiltrated, as we all know. So all of you that are watching, please be very careful. I'm sure there'll be infiltrators watching us because they know that I'm speaking, and I've been here I've been on this 18 years, on the program 20 years. Kathy O'Brien is the longest survivor of MkUltra. Go to Kathy O'Brien's website, and also a lady called the Emmapreneur. The Emmapreneur on Twitter, on X. She's an ex-victim survivor. She's a survivor herself. Her partner is a Satanist. Her partner, he turned whistleblower. His name is Gray. And I went on to, about 2 years ago, I went on to Gray, and it was with Sherry actually, who turned on me. With Sherry, I went on with Gray and Emma to tell them about my brain and the occult and everything else. And when I told Gray, him and I, we just started crying our eyes out. But with me, I'd found my truth. Because previous to that, I'd already been to Barry Trower, the great Dr. Barry Trower, who likes to be called Barry. And he said to me that it could have been done with a microwave weapon. But I knew it was in my heart of hearts, you know. So a brain folding, I believe, is a cult. About 3 months ago, what they did is they sent a team of people, Robert Ransom, a Satanist called Victor, a one-eyed man who'd been with Sherry, and then just all of this confusion. Robert, yes, yeah, let's do this. Let's really help people. This was Robert Ransom. Yeah, let's do. And his job was to get me out of the way and to get Targeted Individuals United taken down with his team. But the thing is because he was in with them, he'd come across an invention. So with my contacts, he's now completed this invention virtually, and he believes it helps the nano. But you see, why take me out? You know, I'll send you one, but he didn't. Instead of that, his job was to take me out. You know, so you know, as I said to a lot of people, 26.5 years I had V2K full on, and then it started tapering off about 3 years ago, but still there, it's still there now. It comes and goes. I've got a bit of nonsense. And the very, very final words were trust nobody. suspect everybody. I didn't have any friends. I'd already been boxed off. All right, I've been around a few people, but because I had no connections with people, sort of, I had no love, no people that were nice to me, kind to me, or anything. And you know, I didn't know how life was anymore. I didn't know how people were. Nobody was loving to me. Nobody was kind to me. Everybody just came to me that wanted something, but that's okay. You know, I was very, very, very happy to help people. You know, I've been in this flat for 18 years. For many years, day and night, I was on the phone to many, many people, helping them. And I hope I did save lives, because a few people have said that I have helped them, and I'm pleased that I have. And I wouldn't have changed it any other way. The same as caring for my dear old mum, you know, because had I not been under mind control, I'd have probably been doing my own thing, you know. But so I'm pleased in a way that I was ill at the time. Tried to infiltrate Lorraine. Oh, right, okay. And David said that he tried to, but I didn't realise he was satanic, and I didn't realise he was part of that crowd, because you know, this has been 18 and a half years here alone of research, plus the research that I did, you know, when I could before, the 12 years before, you know. So anyway, I'm going to do a few recently, because I want to get everything out in the open before they take me down, and before all of this goes out, you know. So I just like to say, everybody, I support everybody that's targeted. I've really tried my utmostly to do my best, you know, for really for everybody. And it's come from the heart. It's not for getting anything back, you know. You don't give to receive, or I never did. I was always a grafter. And anyway, and I never thought myself I'd be in a position to do stuff like this, you know, because you don't think about stuff happening like this in life. Anyway, thank you everybody for all of your comments. Thank you very, very much for joining me. And if you want to add any comments or any questions that you'd like me to ask on behalf of you or anybody, or if you'd like to join me, you know, please do. Stephen. Hi, Stephen. Well, the trouble was, Stephen, is Sunday night was my night. I did it for years, and because the people that I educated and helped, they've all got me out of the way now. You know, specifically Sherry. She specifically, she's doing all right, and they took me out. You know, whereas the other platforms are all sort of swinging along nicely, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I'm happy to be the bad guy, you know, because shit happens in life. You know, I've been here 30 years. The world knows there's a lot of stuff going on in my neighbourhood, as I mentioned. You know, this a man across the road wants to start now, so it's going to start playing. You know, locally, they've started it nationally and internationally for many months. The targeted justice mob all started that and turned on me. You know, because we know what they are. You know, because they're not. Let's face it, they're all millionaires. Len Bear, homosexual scientist living in. I said that because that's what he told me. When he phoned me, he said, Roy, I tell you, I'm a homosexual, been living with my partner for 25 years. And I didn't really give a shit, but he told me that. So he's a New York scientist, been with his partner for 25 years, 5 years ago, or whatever. He went to Cuba, got the Havana syndrome, and he joined Targeted Justice. You know, so that's the story about him. And he turned on me like an arsehole. And what it was is when I went to Dr. Barry Travers, that fat cunt, oh shit, sorry ladies, that fat piece of shit, he accused me of asking the question wrong. What happened when I went down to Dr. Barry's, they actually stopped me being able to talk. And they can do this at the moment. They send a bit of confusion to me, and it gives me about a minute until I get myself together. And this is what they did down at Dr. Barry's. I had stuff on the street. That Sasha and Lorraine, who, by the way, those two women that came with me, never, ever, ever phoned me, contacted me ever, ever again afterwards. So who were they? They came from London. One came from North. Never saw them again, you know. And anyway, I was going off topic there. The third time Katie Petersay came, I want to remind this about the woman. She came and set me up as a rapist. You know, men especially, be careful if you have any women in your place, because this is very, very evil and bad stuff. Because this woman, she would have done that for the Dutch police court. She did that for the Dutch and the Russians, apparently. You know, this is very, very sick stuff where they'd get you out of the way for them doing what they did to you in the first place. Anyway, Stephen, thank you for your messages, and David, bless you, David, and bless you, Stephen. Nick, greetings to you. Frank Delaney, con artist as well. And thank you. There's 14 of you, and I'm so grateful to you for spending a little bit of time with me as well. Anything I've got masses and masses of. I've had to hide USB devices because they're trying to find all my recordings, because they don't want me to put all of my recordings up. And basically, they've done my internet. So I can only afford slow, so I can't get everything up. But I'll try and get everything up that I've got. And I guarantee I have got USB devices hidden that nobody will find and be able to get access to apart from me and somebody else. And this is for all of our own protection, because targeted justice and some of the other mobs are trying to get me out of the way. They want to be kingpin. I never wanted to be kingpin. I don't want to be kingpin. All I ever did was try to collaborate with other targets to talk to each other, to try and get our truth out and get people to believe us. And you know, thank the good Lord that people know we're telling the truth now. And sadly, you've got these people that are getting paid money and raising lots of money, and they're taking us out at the same time because they want to be the big cheeses with bullshit, you know. So what we're looking at here is an establishment running something. They've got to be part of the establishment, you know, because it must be like that in my eyes. But anyway, I don't know what everybody thinks. And thank you all ever so much for joining me. And I'll end this now. I did make a cup of tea a while ago, but I'm not bothered about that because people joined me and commented with me. It's been a pleasure, even holding a conversation for myself. And I really mean that. It's like, wow, there was only a couple of things that I nearly forgot. And to me, this is incredible. And when I spoke with David Atkins earlier, I noticed it's the same with David, because a year or two ago, David was going through a lot. And when I spoke with David earlier, I thought, bloody hell, he's come on a long way. Please believe that it will end, or there's a possibility that it could or will end, or it could get easier for you. You know, at the moment, I can walk and talk. At the moment, they're waiting for me out here. There's a few setups going on. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what today's going to bring. This is how the neighbourhood plays. This is how the world's played me. You know, who's going to believe me against all of these brotherhood crap and all of these pieces of shit they put in my life as setups that were working for the establishment? I don't get it. Anyway, lots of love to everybody, and I hope we'll all get this sorted. And if I can help anybody, it'll only be with words. I've got nothing left. And you know, if you come to me, everything is hacked. So don't expect permission. Don't expect, you know, that our phones aren't going to be hacked, our internets aren't going to be hacked, and so on and so forth. And you know, some of us, this might sound stupid, we could have throat implants, you know, or we could just, you know, verbally being recorded all the time, you know, with the technology that this is. Thank you, Nick. May God protect you too, my friend. And with the technology that this is, excuse me, I know more than this program can do. I know what occult magic to make your brain fold over, to have your brain uploaded, to then be sent to the Philippines after working for 9 years as a taxi driver, and then being sent to the Philippines to marry a woman who never met. And this was all a setup. And then coming home, gambling the remainder of the 85,000 and caring for my dear old mum for the next 12, 14 years. You know, well, it became more full time, which I wouldn't have changed for the world. You know, she lived till 99 and 1 month. I cared for her till 88, 98 and 10 months. You know, so she went in a home for 3 months and I lost her. That was about 6 years ago. I think I must have got a 30-year sentence with this being a target. I don't, because I was already on the program in 82, 83 for the first time. I pissed a lot of people off. I was just young and cheeky, and I loved slot machines and just playing and pin tables, videos. And then I got married at a young age, and my first wife had a couple of miscarriages. And, you know, I was always a happy-go-lucky person, and people in authority didn't like it because a lot of the people in authority, you know, I would give them as much as they would give to me. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't do you any good, you know, especially locally. These pieces of shit, they want to run these manors where nobody's allowed to talk. You know, the police, they think that they can do anything to you. They can speak to you like a piece of shit, and if you dare say anything back to them, you're nicked, or they'll have your number for it. Sadly, I worked with a policeman's son who hated me. I became the manager. Within a week of me becoming the manager, he went to my boss. He said, "I don't like it now, Roy's the manager." And my boss turned around and said, "Oh, nothing's happened. Nothing's changed. All it was, this prick, I educated him, the copper's son, and he didn't like it because he wasn't the manager. I was there 3 or 4 years before him. How does he expect to do that?" You know, there you go. But anyway, he had the last laugh when he picked up my wife and children's stuff, you know, so he got one over on me. My brother had my house, another 5,000, you know, so anyway, may God protect all of us and all of you. And thank you very, very much. And I don't mind anything being passed on to all of these targeted justice wank stains and all of them, because I'd like to have it out with them. But they haven't got enough money in their banks that I would do an interview with them, because I know so much shit about those pieces of filth. They're not nice people. You know, they're money takers. That's why I say, please don't give money to them. They're begging everybody for money and they're sending poisonous things out about people and they're not helping people. What's this? They raised £3.5 million last year, or $3.5 million. You know, this is so wrong. And about 6 years ago, when that targeted justice court case came about, dozens and dozens of people were coming to me. "Roy, what's that targeted justice court case about? It's a load of bullshit." You know, they said that, well, the court case that targeted justice have put forward, nothing can ever happen. You know, there's never going to be any outcome of it. So when targeted justice put that in place, they then said that there was another one that they were going to put in place while they put that one in place. So, you know, who knows what's going on? You know, are they good? Are they bad? Do they want this stopped? You know, are they real? Aren't they real? Anyway, this isn't a dig at targeted justice. They tried getting me out of the way for 2 years. They've got me out of the way virtually now. Well done, Anna. Well done, Len Bear, Midge Mathis, and all of you who collaborated. You know, Robert Ransom, well done. And you've actually cost people their lives. You know, this is what you've actually done, because people relied on me. They came to me from all over the world. So what they've effectively done is they've, you can see what they've done just because they wanted to be, you know, the big money takers, and they didn't want me around to sort of not take any money. And just because I was just earning a few dollars off of a few YouTube videos, I might get $20 one month, $15 another, but that was helping along, you know. But anyway, I'm not going to rant on. Thank you ever so much. Stephen, Nick, Con Artist, June, Frank, David. If I've missed anybody, Nick, I'm sorry. June, thank you ever so much for joining me. And I'm going to end now. Lots of love, and I hope it ends for you. And I hope wherever you are, you find peace. And if you know, most of you know the truth is out there now, and I'll always be posting a little bit from time to time, but not habitually, because they're going to cut my internet off within the next day or two, maybe week. I said all the computer lots going, so I just thought I'd make the most of it before it all goes. So anyway, much love, lots of love, and thanks very much for everybody's support. And if I badmouth people out of order, I'm sorry, but the people that I badmouth, I don't believe I've badmouthed out of order. You know, I will say one thing. Craig LaForest contacted me about a month ago about something I put on my own Facebook feed. He came to me as if he was the boss of Roy E. Cups. He said to me, I don't want you putting anything. He said, why are you putting, he uses mate, mate. I say mate, but he says it in an affectionate way. So he tries to get into you, whereas I don't. And he said it as if he was owning me as well. And they said targeted justice with the bosses. And like Roy's just a piece of shit on the side. They targeted justice. All of that stuff was mine. Everything Midge Mathis, I sent them bastards. You know, and that's the thanks I get. Those pieces of shit want me out of the way for helping them. Anyway, on that note, I'm sorry about ending like that. Lots of love and God bless. And hopefully speak soon. Thank you. Good night. God bless.